Hello guys, welcome to my first YouTube video back. Today we're going to be talking about how to become an outlier male. This is going to be the ultimate guide to becoming an outlier male, and we're also going to touch on what actually is an outlier male and what is the modern meta version of it looking like in this day and age as things evolve so quickly. If you guys are familiar with the YouTuber 1stman, he is the one who coined the term outlier male, and he has spoken about it a fair amount. So today we're going to be getting into a little bit of a different side of things and sharing my perspective on it. So let's get straight into it. We're going to be talking about the factors, obviously, that are a part of being an outlier male: mindset, health, work, purpose, finances, relationships, community, and brotherhood, holistic lifestyle, self-presentation, discipline, action, and consistency. So firstly, what is an outlier male and what is the new meta? So simply put, an outlier male is a well-rounded upper percentile outlier, a positive outlier, right? So if I move myself here, you guys can look at this chart, this graph. You might remember this from math class, right? Here in the middle, we have the not unusual. This is the common folk, the majority of people, the normies, right? This is the moderately unusual on both ends, right? Negative and positive, above average, below average, and then we have the outliers. So negative outliers don't really count and do not factor into the term outliers because it's more of outcasts, right? It gets very little attention and it only gets negative attention, right? This is just like you're so down bad that you're below average, right? So we're talking about outliers, meaning here, right, the upper percentile, let's say 98% and above, and this is going to be above average. Some parts can be in between, but mainly we want to focus on outliers. So 1stman has talked about the straight 7 system, right? That's a kind of quantitative way to explain what an outlier male is. For me, simply put, it's just being well-rounded, right? That's what straight 7 system kind of is. It's being proficient in many areas, being well-rounded, especially in the important areas that are, important to your life and have an impact on your life and society. So an outlier male is someone who has respect, is deserving, is worthy of respect. Responsibility is someone who bears responsibility and projects that, is reliable, and has humility, right? Someone who can look out for others, a role model per se. 1stman uses the example of James Bond being inspiration for him when he was a kid, right? An example of the male advantage. The effect that James Bond had, for example, on Chris when he was a child, that's an example of an outlier male, right? Now, you don't have to be James Bond, but someone who a young boy could look up to and be like, oh, he's cool, I want to be like him, right? What is that child sensing that gives him that feeling, right? You could be a grown man, you could be a young man, you could be a child. You get that feeling. The child is smart enough to sense that, even if it's not necessarily something like Andrew Tate, where it's so flashy with the cars and the watches and the money, which catches the eye. Someone like James Bond, is a little more sleek, a little more polished, and not as flashy, but still arouses that feeling in children, right? That cool, that admiration. So it's also going to be someone who's confident, masculine, strong, articulate, and competent, right? Competence is a huge one. Competence because it applies generally. It's something about who you are as a person. You're able to be good at a variety of things, right? You're smart, you're intelligent, whatever it might be. Ultimately, though, being an outlier male really comes down to two main categories, right? These are the main and most important factors. That's going to be health and work. We're going to get a little bit more into that later on, but just wanted to mention that here. And then we have the new superhuman male outlier. So this is something that has not been spoken about really by anyone, as far as I'm aware. It is something I've kind of come up with and recognized myself. And it's the new protocol, the new meta that is going to be revealed in this video. So stay tuned for that. So, firstly, mindset. Priorities are huge, right? You have to set priorities for yourself and stick to them. And you have to embody those priorities, right? There's a big difference between someone trying to prioritize something, trying to value something, trying to discipline themselves towards something, be about something, versus actually embodying that. You actually value it, right? You can fake the funk, but there's a big difference in that being authentic. So you need to establish your priorities and really embody them, believe in them, and be firm on them. That's huge. We have becoming self-aware. You have to be self-aware of yourself, your thoughts, right? You do not just want to go with the flow. As Dan Coe says, if you don't, make a plan, you will be assigned one, right? Whatever you don't do in society, you will be assigned a default. So you have to be self-aware and analyzing yourself, your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, everything, so you can approve it and refine upon it. You have to have or develop a positive but hungry attitude, right? There's the notion of the matrix, right? The matrix is coming to get you. Slavery is imminent, that Tate talks about. But that puts you in a negative mindset, right? You feel negative, and while there are certain negative emotions where one can use them positively, like anger and whatnot, having a negative outlook, a pessimistic outlook on the world, on life, that's not going to do you any solid. So you want to be hungry, but you also want to be positive at the same time, right? It doesn't have to be perfectly positive all the time, but generally speaking, you want to go in that direction. You want to go towards the light. You have to learn to motivate yourself and be stubbornly persistent, right? You cannot rely on motivation. We've all heard this many times, but it is a very good skill and it's very helpful to motivate yourself, right? Motivation along your journey is like a jetpack. It's like hitting boost in Mario Kart, right? You're getting a boost, you're getting a burst. That's super helpful, and it makes it also more enjoyable. So learning to motivate yourself is a skill, and it's very helpful, along with being stubbornly persistent, right? You have to stubbornly persist. You just have to move forward and continue with what you're doing regardless of external factors. Always remember, as long as you're able to keep trying and pushing forward, things can keep improving, right? You always have the chance for things to improve as long as you're pushing things forward and you're trying. If you have nothing to lose, then you have everything to gain, which is a lot to lose. This is something I came up with that is a quote for if you're at rock bottom. People are like, oh, I have nothing to lose, implying it's negative. But if you have nothing to lose, that means you have everything to gain, right? If you're truly at rock bottom, that means things can only get better, which having the opportunity for everything to only get better, that's a lot to lose. So that's like the only thing is a lottery ticket for you to get better, and you're going to lose that. So that's actually contrary to how many people think. It's not the most negative position to be in, because things can only get better. And if you even have the opportunity to try, you're extremely blessed, right? So take that into account. Really think about that, right? Because many people might not have the opportunity to even try to achieve this extent of human life optimization, becoming an outlier, right? One thing going wrong, one different roll of the dice, and you could not even have the opportunity. You would just be stuck, right? Or it would be very, very difficult. Everything would be stacked against you, and it would be 100 times more difficult than it is for you right now. So if you have a fair shot, you're extremely blessed, and you'd be doing yourself a disservice not to utilize that. And you have to be relentless, and you have to be ruthless, right? You have to be relentless in your pursuit and be ruthless in your sorry guys, let me get this out of the way. You have to be ruthless in your outlook towards it, right? Because if you're not, you'll have many obstacles, and it'll make it much more difficult. So next is health, right? Taking your health very seriously. Health is arguably the most important factor in this whole conversation. And it has to be holistic, right? If you were just to prioritize your aesthetic physique, you'd be doing everything to look good. You'd be sacrificing your actual health, right? Being a bodybuilder, on steroids and whatnot, right? And the best way to do this is to get professional help, right? Like an athlete having a coach, like, anyone trying to do anything, getting a professional help is going to be your best bet. It's also going to make the process more efficient, more effective, save you time, so on and so forth. The best place to start is obviously on building a foundation, right? That's going to be fitness/exercise training, nutrition, and sleep, right? Those are your bread and butter. If those are not in order, then there's not a big point in focusing on more minute things, right? Majoring in the minors. These are what are going to be an 80-20, right? The 80-20 rule. These are going to lead to a majority of results, and these have to be in order and consistent, maintained for your lifetime. Factors that are going to play into all this, into your health and into a little bit more, the 20% are going to be obviously your overall performance, your hormone health. For men, a big one's going to be testosterone, your gut health, your liver health, your liver function, your cognitive health, your detoxification abilities, right? Your toxic load, your inflammation, your neuroinflammation, right? Your status with what your inflammatory status is, your vitamin and mineral deficiencies / status. And these are all a little bit more fine-tuning, detailed things, but these are all what make all the difference, right? Someone's simply focusing on fitness, not to hate on anyone, but for example, a Jay Waller, right? Just eating out all the time, chicken, rice, eat your protein, chicken or steak and rice. You're working out a traditional weightlifting style and not taking many of these into account. You're leaving a lot of gains, a lot of money on the table, per se. So you want to definitely establish goals and a plan of action in terms of your health. You don't want to shoot in the dark. You don't want to try to guess and just go, stumble along the way. And you need to take action, make it a priority, invest in it, right? If you invest in something, only then can you expect to get results and progress in it, right? Whether that be energy, resources, energy, time, money, everything, effort, right? And you need to be persistent. Health is not a short-term thing. It's not a quick fix. It's something you make changes, you move forward, and you stick to it. 80-20 rule, once your foundation is built, right? Most people are not even close to 80. Most people might be at like a 5, right? Initially, you want to get your foundation built, get yourself to 50, 60, 70, 80. Once your foundation is built and dialed in, and it's habitual, right? It doesn't require effort from you. It's just your norm. Then you can move on to what I refer to as the superhuman optimization stage. That's where the new real meta outliers are, right? So people are taking advantage of the modern technologies, the modern resources that are available to us in terms of health to get to new levels, right? Technology largely harms us, but it also has ways where it can help us, right? So modern problems require modern solutions, and if something is beneficial, it's helpful, why not use it to even improve yourself more, right? It's a never-ending journey. Next is work, purpose, and finances. So as I said in the initial part, health and work are going to be the biggest and most important, simplistically put, areas. If you have to focus on two things, those are the priorities. So it's work, purpose, and finances because they all go hand in hand, right? It's not just one of them. Purpose, working purposefully, and having a comfortable financial situation. You can have a profession or a business. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, but you do want to strive to be the best at what you do, right? You can be an amazing plumber and do very well for yourself. You can have a plumbing business and do very well for yourself. You can be one of the best doctors in the world. You can be a businessman. You can be a coach. It doesn't matter what it is. Strive to be the best at what you do, and you will be an outlier and you will be successful. Keep pushing forward, always improving and more and further optimizing, right? You can never get complacent. It's a never-ending journey, and it's always striving to fulfill your potential, become the best version of yourself, and it's a never-ending journey, and that's what keeps us alive and keeps us human. An example of an outlier versus a normal person, right, which shows it's all in the details. Take two plumbers. A lazy, out of shape, scruffy plumber with a beer belly who's sloppy, ungroomed, not confident, and has poor social skills, right? Imagine that in your mind for a second. How would you feel interacting with that person? All right, he came to your house, you had a plumbing issue. Versus a yoked, extremely fit, good-looking plumber, makes his work clothes look cool, extremely well-groomed and sharp, very confident, great social skills, right? How would that make you feel? Now imagine that. Big difference, right? Drastic difference for two people that on paper are in the same position, right? So the details do make all the difference. Next is relationships. Good connections, community, strong relationships, strong connections to other people, other human beings that you connect with on a personal level. And brotherhood, a huge one, right? Having tribe, brothers who have shared values to you, are on a similar journey to you, and who you care about and who care about you, right? This is huge, also for your fulfillment. So try to have a strong circle of people if possible. This is obviously difficult because striving to become an outlier makes you already an outlier, right? You're already in that unusual category, above average. So the people like yourself are going to be more difficult to find. So if you can't find those type of people, high quality relationships, don't settle for lower quality ones, right? Try your best. Try to hang out and surround yourself with people the best you can do, but don't completely isolate yourself, but also don't be around low quality people. I think that makes sense. Right, and this is going to apply to both men and women, right? Friends, male friends, and also women. Don't hang out. Don't surround yourself with low quality women. Don't settle for low quality women. Have high standards for yourself and for other people. Holistic lifestyle. This is huge, right? Holistic lifestyle is what I refer to the lifestyle, right? The lifestyle of the outlier male is holistic. You take into account everything, you give attention to everything, you address everything, and you are proficient in everything. So do you live a holistic lifestyle? How do you spend your time, right? If someone was to watch your life like a movie, what does your life look like? How are you spending your time, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be super cool all the time, but is your life productive? Are you moving towards something, right? Is it respectable? Is your lifestyle aligned with your values, right? If you say you value health and blah blah blah, but you go clubbing even every so often, that's not in alignment with the value of health, right? Those are opposites. They don't go together, right? So how aligned are you with your values? How much have you embodied them, right? Meaningful, purposeful, intentional, right? These are all ways you need to live your life. Are you living meaningfully? Are you living purposefully? And are you living intentionally? These are huge and apply to really every aspect of an outlier male lifestyle. Making a positive impact. You want to do your best to make a positive impact, have a positive impact in the world, on other people, on your community, etc., so forth. You want to help others where you can. That's a big part of being an outlier male, being that guy, that figure, is that you're someone who's well taken care of and can afford to really help others. You're someone who can help others in tough times, in emergency situations, for example. You're someone who others look up to, who can put a hand and help others, like stick a helping hand out. And this also means prioritizing health, prioritizing your community, your brothers, your family, your relationships, and your work. These are the top priorities really should be in a man's life if you want to live a lifestyle in this manner. Self-presentation, your appearance. Your physical shape. What do you look like? What does your body look like? Are you fit? Are you muscular? What does your face look like? What does your neck look like, right? Neck plays a big one in male appearance. Your clothing. Do you look sloppy? Do you look goofy? Do you look immature? Or do you look refined? Do you look respectable? Do you look functional, right? Your presence, your energy. Are you confident, right? Cool confidence. You're not cocky. You're not bravado, not having too much bravado, right? You're confident, you're relaxed, you're comfortable with yourself, right? That's an energy and a presence that people can feel, right? Being very secure in yourself. And being socially adept, right? Having good social skills, being able to communicate effectively, being articulate. An example of this would be you could have everything in place, but you have a poor hair and beard style, you look sloppy, and you're wearing goofy, immature clothes, right? You could be in super good shape. You could have a great job or work or business. You could have financially be successful, everything. You could be confident, have great social skills, all these things. But just having these two important areas, your appearance, your presentation to other people, right, which communicates who you are, two things slightly off or very off, but they're critical areas, shatters everything, right? It makes the other stuff really just canceled out for the most part. Then we have discipline. You need to be disciplined, and you need to be someone who's uncompromising in your values, in your way of life, right? Identify as extremely disciplined and take pride in it, right? Discipline is a masculine trait. It is admired. People look up to people who are disciplined. Identify as someone who's disciplined. Think of yourself that way. Take pride in it, and that will help you to uphold it. Become an extreme person, right? And when I say that, I don't mean in the sense of cutting your sleep and not sleeping and hustle and grind. Not that type of extreme, but extreme in how you live, right? What you are going for, right? Be the way everyone else can't be, but even if they won't admit it, they kind of admire it, right? You sleep early, you wake up early, you work hard. You don't have traditional fun. People are like, oh, like have some fun, take time off. You're like, no, that's not what I want to do. That's not what I value. That's not what I enjoy, right? Be extreme in your values, right? You don't have to be this, how they say, moderation. You don't have to have moderation. Moderation of bad things is not good, right? So be disciplined, but be uncompromising at the same time. Ultimately, action plus consistency is all that matters, because without that, you can have the mindset in place, you can have the right values, but it won't come into fruition, right? It won't become a reality. So you need to take action, relentless action, right? Think less, do more. Many smart people, intelligent people are actually plagued by being thinkers and analyzing, right? It's a natural human tendency to analyze things, outcomes. But in many cases, that can kind of be shooting yourself in the foot, because you end up thinking, overthinking, and not doing the things you need to do, or making them take much longer than they need to take. So take relentless action. Don't think zero, right? Think a fair amount. Be calculated. Be smart, but don't overthink. Take action. Action first. Action is better, and you will learn and think as you go and refine as you take action. Move forward ruthlessly no matter what your circumstances. Always look forward, always push forward, and look even if you're in the dark, keep your eye on the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Be consistent, the compound effect, right? Small things add up over time. 1stman uses the example of, the person who has bad habits in their 20s, at 23, at 20, everyone's still fairly similar, right? The bad habits you've had, the drinking, the lack of exercise, the lack of sleep, it hasn't taken its toll on you yet, right? When you're 30, 38 plus, that's when people start to show the signs, the wear and tear of their lifestyle, right? So the same way, you reading the 10 minutes every day, right, over the 10 years from 20 to 30, from 30 to 35, the fitness you've accrued, right? That makes a big difference. It's a compound effect. So while you might not see quick results, as you start taking these small actions, over time you will. But at the same time, when you're doing many of the right things or all the right things consistently and diligently, you will see results, and you will see a drastic transformation in yourself and in your life. So it's quick and it's slow, right? Compounding effect, but there is progression along the way that you will notice. Now, if you'd like personalized help from me with this, if you'd like to dive deeper, you can absolutely book a free health and lifestyle strategy session with me. Just follow me on Instagram, shoot me a message with the word outlier, and we can talk about that. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys today. Drop a comment with any questions or comments or what you thought about it. And I look forward to speaking to you guys again soon. We'll be back. Take care, guys.